Hey guys, welcome to Podcast Fandom Premium. I'm your host Nina.
And I'm Kaylee.
And we are back to discuss Sweet Home. We're going to be talking about Season 1, Episodes 3 and 4. Yay! So, a couple of things. We are now recording in separate rooms. Because, you guys, the technical difficulties we were having these past few podcasts have been because my computer would overheat. It would say, I forget the message exactly, but it was basically couldn't keep up with the requests. whatever you're asking me to do, bitch, I can't do it because I'm too hot. So, and I think it was because it was GarageBand, because I use this computer sitting on the bed all day, every day, and it never overheats for any reason. But for some reason, when GarageBand is up, it does that. And we use GarageBand when we're podcasting from the same room, because we just record directly into the mic, directly into the program, and then I just add the music to the front and the back, and boom, it's great. As opposed to using Skype, where I have to download the file, then edit it. But I'd much prefer this way, so I don't have to worry about it interrupting the conversation. So there's that. And we should tell everybody that I think the last time we recorded for this, it's so weird that we've only discussed 2 episodes. It feels like so much has happened that we've done more than 2. It's so weird, right? But I think the last time we recorded, I don't think this was a private conversation. I'm pretty sure we discussed it on the podcast. The author of Sweet Home, the manhwa, is named Kim Carnby, and you were saying how you had read or started to read Bastard, his other work, and Shotgun Boy. But since that last podcast, you have finished Shotgun Boy.
It's not finished. I'm just caught up.
Well, you're caught up.
It's available on Webtoons.
And is it ongoing right now, or do you have to wait?
It's, it's weekly, updated weekly.
Oh, okay. But it's not on hiatus right now.
Yeah,
next week there will be a new issue.
Yeah.
Okay. So I started reading it as well, and I don't see it yet because I'm literally just I'm prologue in episode 1. That's all I've read. But you are caught up, and you said that it's clear that it's set in the same universe as Sweet Home.
That's what it appears to be so far.
And then someone in the comments of the first issue that I read mentioned there's a poster. It's a poster for a movie based off a video game or something like that, featured in that first episode of Shotgun Boy. Let's see who's writing me. And his daddy. Hold on. I'm just gonna let that go. You're a badass dog. But yeah, so somebody in the comments mentioned that the I think it's Maria in the Sky or something like that. Yeah. That is, I have the way the comment was phrased, it makes me think that is something that's featured in all of his works. And so that will be a clear sign that this stuff is in the same universe. So now I'm curious to see if there was a poster or something like that in in these episodes of Sweet Home. I'm going to be looking out for it from episodes 5 through 10.
Outside of outside of the works that I have read, there's another one called Pigpen that I also read a while ago, and I never got caught up with it, but I got decently far into it. I don't think I've seen anything about Maria in the Sky in that yet, but I do want to go back, and I was planning on going back and rereading it anyways. So.
And I mean, it feels like something that could be super subtle. It's just for instance, in this show, it might be a poster on Jisoo's wall or something like that.
Yeah. So
is that a dog outside barking?
Yeah.
Is it barking because Nico was barking?
I don't know, but it's it sounds like it's so close, right by the stairs to our apartment.
Yeah. And it's just causing Nico stress.
Oh, yeah, I'm so proud of Nico because he's just remaining quiet.
Well, he's remaining quiet because the little thing is on.
Yeah, but that means he's learning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's just sitting there. I hear him just
Yeah,
quietly
he'll
growling.
sometimes growl a little bit, but
Just like
for
this.
now he's just staring out the window.
Okay. All right. So what did I just really want? I can't believe it's somebody else's dog causing us. Are you fucking kidding me? We've had the worst
It's not like there's
podcasting
multiple
luck.
dogs out there.
I cannot wait to move. I feel like this is my business. This is how I like feed my kids, is this podcast. And I can't get it together. Like, Jesus Christ. Okay. Wow, sorry about that, guys. So what did you think of these 2 episodes?
I like them. I like seeing all the different kinds of like creatures that are in this show because they're kind of unique. Like, as opposed to like a regular kind of zombie apocalypse. It's just like each monster you run into is different. And
Right.
I like that.
Like in a zombie show, like the biggest thing is like what the difference is what the zombie is wearing.
Yeah, like if it was like a policeman.
Yeah. I remember one season of The Walking Dead, it was like a bride. I was like, Jesus. Oh my God. Did you set that thing off?
Did I?
I don't know. I heard like a brrrr noise.
I don't know. I wasn't looking at it. So.
Okay, be careful. Poor Nico. You're laughing too loud and his little shock thing is going off. And I say shock, it's not like an electric shock. It makes a noise that stops him from barking. Okay. Yeah, I love this show. I think I said to you, like, I have like big reactions when we watch this show. Because I still don't yet know, like, what the fuck? Just in general, like, what the fuck? But like, nothing happens that I think is gonna happen, if that makes sense. Like, shit happens and I'm like, that's not gonna happen. They're not gonna do that. Like, and then they do that. You know, and I'm like, what are they doing? How'd we get here? But yeah, I'm loving it. And I still feel like, I mentioned this to you because it's in these 2 episodes that we learn that the firefighter, her fiance died, right? I was like, yeah, that just fits the theme of, or Yi Kyung is her name. That just fits the theme of like trauma.
And having trauma.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know. And then we learn in these episodes that it's desire driven. So it's not like contagious, right? It's not like you can get infected. And so that, I don't know, that feels like that's also kind of tied to obviously like your emotions, your regrets, you know? So it's just interesting to me. I'm curious to see where that's going. And then on top of that, I won't say too much because, you know, again, like if you guys are interested in reading it and like Kaylee's caught up, but again, I've only read the first episode and the prologue with Shotgun Boy. I'm seeing similar, it's just like people being awful, you know? All right, so let's do it. Let's dive into it. So with episode 3, there's a flashback of Hyun-su. And in this, he is in the car when his family, and he's basically like, well, before it was like they were arguing and the dad was distracted yelling at the daughter in the backseat. And here it's Hyun-su is being antagonistic, you know, like talking shit about everybody, about his dad. He lays into his sister. And then when he started on his mom, I was like, don't. Because you could just tell this lady don't need this shit. Like, I feel, and then knowing what's about to happen. But then he wakes up in the hospital as the only survivor of the crash. So I don't know. Is that real, do you think?
I have no idea at this point. I don't know.
And then the thing inside of him, right? Whatever that is that like speaks to him, and when his eyes turn black, it offers to do more for him. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Actually, I think the whole him being in the car crash and him waking up at the hospital, I think that wasn't real, because didn't he like walk outside of the hospital and then like everyone started like disappearing?
Yes.
And so I'm like, this seems like one big like dream or hallucination.
Yeah. Okay, good. Because I was like, I don't know how the fuck he would have survived that. So He snaps out of it. That makes sense because it feels like that's what he was dreaming when he passes out, kind of like with the kids, right? When the monster's attacking, and he wakes up and he ends up saving the kids with the help of, I just keep calling him God's Will because I don't know his name. You know what I mean? The religious guy with the sword. And they end up separated, right, from the kids. The kids run ahead because they're supposed to go to the 14th floor, right? And they're going, trying to remember, they're going up or down because they end up like on the wrong floor. Remember? Because the little boy is like, Soo-young, they said 14 something, we're on the 15th floor. And the kids end up having to first dodge the security officer who can like smell them, I think. Like he's like,
he can hear
or something, yeah.
Because the boy peed himself, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And he heard the little drop of the pee hit the floor. I forgot. Poor baby. But the this like, I don't know where this monster came from. He's like the Hulk. Like, am I supposed to know who that was?
He first appeared with main guy, like right after he like kind of passed out.
Right, that's who they saved. Yeah, he saves that's who they saved the kids from. Right, so I'm just like,
he just kind of broke down the wall and appeared.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where he came from, like who he is, but they start fighting. So this Hulk monster starts fighting the security guard, and the kids get away. But then they go to the wrong floor, and they get cornered by the Hulk monster, right? And the lady with the baby, the empty baby carriage, she shows up and she's like, don't hurt the children. Now, I was saying to you, like, he's not gonna hurt this lady, right? Like, please don't, let's not. And it did this thing where it knocked her back and the stroller fell over. And then she remembers when her baby died, and they show her running into the street, and there's the stroller and it's all bloody and mangled in the middle of the street, and she's screaming and crying. But then in the hallway, the baby is there. Like, my ovaries, my Lord Jesus, this baby was just delicious. Little dimpled fingers and gums and cute, perfect little mouth. Babies are the best. And I was like, and the thing is like walking towards her, and it lifts its foot, and I'm like, they're not, even though I know the baby's not there. I was like, don't do this. And it did it. It did it, and then it did it to her. Like, it crushed her. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? But then she jumps up, and she's a demon now, or infected or something. I don't know. I don't know what this is. And she jumps on its head, and that's when they finally show up. Jisoo and Hyun-su and the God's Will. It's literally in my notes. I just have GW because I don't know his name. And then God's Will is the one who's like, you guys go. I will handle him. You take the kids to 1408, right? And Jisoo stops to help the demon. Like, the woman is now like kind of on all fours, and her face is down, so she can't see her face, but her hands are clearly like a monster's hands.
The black claws.
Yeah. And Jisoo watches, and what does Jisoo have? Like a bat, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm thinking, okay, she's gonna like brain this lady. But the lady changes back to like human, and she just offers her hand instead. And I'm like,
yeah, because she asked about like if the kids are okay.
Yeah, if the kids are okay. Oh my god. And so they're gonna go to 1408 to the dude's apartment, the guy in the wheelchair, whose name I have to get again, but Dushik, I think is his name. But anyway, Dushik. And but then when they reach like the apartment, the mom, the lady tells Jisoo, you can go ahead, and because I know you're worried about your friend, worried about God's Will, right? I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And she just enters the apartment and like introduces herself to the kids, and I'm like, is nobody going to talk about the fact that this woman was just a demon? Like,
I feel like the only one who knows is Jisoo.
Right? And she's not saying, I wonder why she's not saying anything.
Yeah.
So, and then how he deals with the monster is it chases him, God's will. And then I thought he was going to die. I thought he was sacrificing himself. Like, he was standing in front of this window at the end of a long hallway and the monster charges. And I thought he was just going to, like, tackle him and fall out. But he sidestepped. Sidestep right left to my beat. Highlight the moon. Anyway.
Okay.
And the thing goes out the window. But it's not dead, right? I mean, I don't think any of them have actually died. You know what I mean? Like, the one in the very first episode, it's still out there because we see what it does later.
Yeah.
The security guard's still walking around. So I don't know. So God's Will and Jisoo stop at her apartment. When they walk in, he takes one look at the place and he puts his arm out like to protect her. And he's like, hold on, someone's been here. And she's like, no, it just always looks like this.
She's like, you're so rude.
Yeah, that's the first thing she says. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. So they all end up connecting in Dushik's apartment, 1408, and they have dinner, and it's super awkward. It's just them all sitting around the table. He offers, Dushik offers Hyun-su some beer, and he's like, I'm not an adult yet. I can't. Jisoo is like, I don't give a fuck, give it to me. And then the power is restored because remember, Yi Kyung went to the basement to deal with that, and she turns the power on, but we see that she's been caught and she's like in some sort of cocoon by a monster. But like when we're introduced to this, it's through her point of view. Like, she can see a little bit through like the web that she's in.
Oh yeah.
And it's like somebody, it looked like a man, like with like a backpack, and he had keys hooked to his belt. Have we seen the landlord? The guy who was yelling at the security guard to get the bed out?
I don't think so.
I feel like we haven't seen him since that. But yeah, it felt like it was like a human. So at first I thought it was like a person doing this to her or like using her as bait or something. But then later we see the monster that that has her. Who's number 802? Oh, that's the weird guy. The guy that the thug guy was torturing.
Oh, sus guy.
Yes, sus guy. So I said, this is what I have in my notes. Number 802 comes bearing food, but the dog ain't impressed. Like, the dog is because they're in the lobby and the market, the shop owner guy won't give them food. Yeah. He wants them to pay for it. He's like, go get your money and come back. And he won't let them in. And then the guy from 802, all sus, he shows up with like a suitcase full of food, ramen and snacks and stuff. And everybody's like, oh, thank you. And he's like, yeah, we should take care of each other. And we should, and I'm like, nigga, you sus. And the dog is like, nigga, you sus. And it's like growling at him. And so the owner of the dog, she is like, no, thanks. I'm not hungry. Because she listens to her dog. As she should.
Did you notice she looked at the suitcase and there was blood inside of
That's right. Yeah, I forgot that part. She was like, how you get blood in a suitcase? Did you put a body part in a suitcase? Right. So this episode ends, though, with... so there's a couple of things, right? The brother, ballerina bro. Is his name... Un-hyuk? I think.
Something like that.
I think that's what I have written for the next episode with the highlight over it. So Un-hyuk is the ballerina girl's brother. And he was watching from like the security office, right? When Yi Kyung went down to the basement. And somebody came in asking about her. Like, oh, she should have been back by now. The power's on. So clearly, she did it. And he's like, there's one camera where it's like turned. So it's like not facing anything relevant. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't see the room proper. And he says like, oh yeah, that camera's turned or something. And the way he was watching the cameras, it just felt really sus to me and just weird. And then when well, I'm skipping ahead a bit, but then like in the next episode when she finally gets back, she confronts him and says that he knew there was a monster down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know how she knows that he knew that. Like, I feel like I missed something in that, but
I don't know either, but I mean, this entire time, I don't even remember if I mentioned it in the podcast before, but like this entire time I'm like, why is she going down there by themselves when they were watching the cameras and they saw a monster on the camera? And I guess it was only him that noticed it and not her. So like, I guess that kind of explains it, but like, again, why?
Right.
Like, why did he let her go down there by herself?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, maybe this weekend one day I'll just put like those first 2 episodes on again, because I do feel like I missed something. Also, it's really weird because like I can hear you sometimes talking from the living room, but like not in the mic, and then like a second later I hear you. There's like a delay. Is that weird?
Wait, which do you hear first? Real me or
real you? Yeah.
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 Yeah, because there's a delay.
Yeah.
A slight delay.
So this episode ends when he is this where he comes over the radio and he tells people they should come downstairs? Like he goes over the loudspeaker in the building, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, does.
Yeah,
and,
he's doing this while that lady's trying to leave.
Right. So his back is turned, and this was just so frustrating to me because I was like, why? Why do you need to be facing like the corner?
I mean, like, I don't know. I guess he didn't have any reason to not be facing the corner.
There are monsters around. Like, what do you mean? Like,
well, I mean, I feel like he would, like, there's like, all he knows is that in the lobby it's safe because it's just him and all the people. That's why they're there, because it's safe.
Some of them people are sus and he don't trust them either. So I mean, I get it. It's drama and it's plot, but it was just frustrating.
I just think it's not a super unrealistic thing to do.
I guess. See, this is why I can't be stuck with you in the fucking monster apocalypse. Like, Haley, turn around. Watch the doors at all time. What are you doing? So yeah, so while his back is turned, the woman whose daughter was missing, and the daughter is called Min-soo. Not missing, she just wasn't home when shit went down. And so she was like against them, like closing everything up. And then I do appreciate that she was like, even if you won't leave the gates open so she can get in, let me out so I can go look for my kid. And they wouldn't do that. So when his back is turned, she lifts the gates. She presses the button. And then she starts to go out, and several people try to stop her. And then he comes in the lobby. He's like, what's going on? And I'm like, what do you think is going on? Why wouldn't you just go back and close them again? Like, he's like, close them like manually. I'm like, why? Just turn around and go back to the office and close them. And she saw on her phone, I guess, like, I don't know if she had like a Find My Phone app or like whatever for her daughter.
GPS tracker.
Yeah. She could see that her daughter is nearby, like literally right outside. Mm-hmm. So she's like, she's here. And we see the daughter running up. She has a school uniform on. She's like, you know, like running. I don't even think was she limping? I feel like she might have been limping, but she's definitely.
I think she was running normally, and
I think she was
kind of tripped.
Yeah,
but it was awkward because like watching the scene, the actress just kind of like fell forward. It looked very much on purpose. I can't blame her though. It's hard to trip and make it look real. it's hard to fall on purpose, you know.
Yes.
Like, because you don't want you know you're gonna fall, so you brace yourself unconsciously.
Yeah, true, and then it looks weird.
Yeah, you can't fall realistically.
So, and I will say at this point, I was like, she looked fine, like in terms of like, she didn't look like she'd been bitten or anything like that. There were no monsters around, and it was daylight. So I'm just like, go help, like, you're still, everybody's fighting. They're not letting the mother run to her, but like, nobody's going to get her either. And I'm like, you would save way more time and it's way less dangerous if y'all just ran out there and got her. As soon as I thought that, or almost said it, the soldier, Suwon, runs out there. And I was like, finally. But then before he reaches her, a tentacle goes through her chest and into his. And through her back. Through her chest and into his. And I thought it was her at first. Remember?
I think that's what you were supposed to think because it purposely showed it not going through her at first.
Right. So I was like, holy shit, they were right. But no, it turns out it's the thing from the beginning. the first one, and he was like in a pipe or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because there's all that construction material around, remember? And it ends with him dying. Them both dying, actually.
Yeah.
And they close the gates and stuff. So in episode 4, the mom goes ham on Ballerina Bro. And she blames him. And I was like, kind of right. She was like, if you'd have just done this earlier, this wouldn't have happened. And I was like, I don't know. I just feel really bad for her. And after that announcement over the loudspeaker with Eun-hyuk telling people to come to the lobby because it's safer and to bring like whatever food and supplies you can, Jisoo and God's Will decide that they're going to head down. Mm-hmm. And then we meet these new residents. I don't think we even caught their names. It is an older dude, like middle-aged dude, and he's and it feels like it's like his home caregiver, his nurse or something. Like,
yeah, it's a younger girl, definitely.
And like she was there like visiting, like to take care of him, and she got trapped there or something.
Yeah, because she's like calling him sir. I think.
And she's feeding him medicine, like literally putting the pill in his mouth.
Yeah.
But she also seemed like she didn't like him.
It seemed like she was just like kind of putting up with him. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just like, I can't believe I am stuck in a monster apocalypse with you. So he decides he's gonna go down, right? And I can't remember, is she gonna go with him?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So we both said we kind of like them introducing new people, like, because the building is huge. We say that like every time we watch it. It's like, how many motherfuckers are in here? So this is where we learn from the lady who owns the dog, because she got all the tea. And you can see why, because she nosy as shit. You notice that about her? Like, even if she's not talking, she's just like watching and listening.
Yeah, she's always there in the back.
Yeah, just there, holding that dog, listening. So we find out from her that Yi Kyung's fiance died, and her wedding was supposed to be in a few days. How she know all this, I don't know. And here I have in my notes, Pom mom got all of the tea, because her dog's name is Pom, right?
Mm-hmm. B-O-M.
Mm-hmm. Which is spring in Korean. Pomnar, spring day. So then, while speaking of Yi Kyung, she fucking got out of that cocoon. Like, they didn't even show us it. And the monster like came to it to eat her or something, and she was already out of it. She was not in her clothes. I think she left her clothes in it, like the cocoon thing. So she has on like these like boy short underwears and like a sports bra.
You know what this reminds me of? Hunter x Hunter.
Why? Oh,
with almost the exact same thing.
Oh my god, with the vacuum.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god, that's so true. She totally takes off her clothes. Yes. You guys will hear us talk about that when we reach the Hunter x Hunter Chimera Ant arc on the podcast, which I think is like this week or next week. So yeah, I just have in my notes, she's buff bae. She's fucking...
We look at her and we were instantly like, oh my god, she's like Mikasa.
Oh my god, she ain't got an ounce of fat on her. She's got abs and her fucking back. There was like one scene where she was like running from that thing or climbing into something, and her back was just amazing. My back could never look like that.
And it's like, it makes sense because she's a firefighter.
Yes, yes. Oh, you know what? There's something that I skipped in the last episode. The president dies on TV.
Oh, yeah.
The president gives an address, and like he's like mid-speech, and his nose starts bleeding, and he just turns, and then like he starts screaming, and he's like, "It doesn't fucking matter. You're all gonna die." Because before that, he was like, "Stay inside. We'll be okay."
Read off the script.
And yeah, and then like the camera goes dead just as see like one of the soldiers like about to put a bullet in its head. So there's another like a news. They're watching the news, and they mention the golden hour, right? This is where they say that it feels like this is driven by human desire, right? And they mentioned the golden hour, and I don't remember if they say like when that is, like what period of time it is exactly.
Yeah, I remember what they say, but I'm still kind of confused on what they mean by it. They say there's like a period of time before they're changed. It's like during the nosebleeds. There's like an hour where they're just like still kind of normal, but they're just having nosebleeds and everything, and they
And
feel
is that
like,
the ideal time to kill him? Because after that, it's they harder
yeah,
to kill, right?
that's what they said, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, Hyun-su, Jisoo, and God's Will decide they're going to go to the lobby, right? Do-shik and the mom and the two kids decide to stay in his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
On the way down, they find a dead body. And Jisoo robs it of its granola bar.
As you do. When
As
you
you
find
do.
dead bodies in an apocalypse.
And then the two of them, God's Will and Jisoo, turn to like, they walk off to keep going.
Walking, yeah.
And
they're like going, they're still going down the stairs.
I'm legit gonna pull up this episode in Webtoon.
This scene was in
this
Webtoon?
This scene, yeah, because I want to see like the
frame
way
by frame.
Yeah, because in the show, it's like, and I love when shows do this, but it's like you're not really paying attention to the background to the point where I couldn't tell you if it was just a doorway and the room beyond it is pitch black, or if it was a hall, like what, it's just like a door frame and it's complete pitch black, right? You're not even paying attention to it. And then the darkness kind of moves a little bit and you see two red eyes. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where you think that's just nothingness, shapeless black. Yeah. But then it moves and you realize, oh shit, there's something standing there the whole time.
To me, it looked like, I don't know, I feel like I have to watch it again, but to me, because I remember we rewound the scene too, but when we were watching it, it looked like a silhouette.
Yes. And
it like started moving and it looked like it was getting into a sprinter's position, like when you were about to take off running.
Lord Jesus, I was shook. And then it moves so fucking fast and it just like...
I said sprinter's position, I'm like the Armored Titan in season 1 of Attack on Titan.
Yes! When you knew, so it was like, oh, he's about to windsurf on fucking Hyun-su's head. But like he knocks him down and Hyun-su falls over the railing. And how big is this? Like, I feel like, is this building even real?
Yeah.
Because he fell down the
like
stairwell.
9 stories.
It felt like way more than that.
I mean, 9 stories is a lot.
It is a lot, but it felt like it was like, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt like bottomless almost. Like, it just like he was falling forever. And he fucking like hits and splats at the bottom. The sound he fell in front of Ballerina Girl. Who was trying to open the door to go into the lobby, but they have it locked from the other side.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you going to invite people to come? But I mean, I get it. Mm. And then he wakes up and he's in her apartment with her brother. Mm-hmm. They're sus.
Which is, yeah, it's like weird because like, I don't know. It's just, we don't see the brother appearing. We don't see
anybody, like nothing.
Anybody else. It's just, okay.
But then, like, everybody in the lobby knew what had happened, too, right? So for some reason, they don't show us any of that. I don't know. Maybe I'm paranoid, but I feel like the brother and the sister are sus.
Yeah, you keep saying that. I don't know. But they were also, like, immediately sus of the main guy. Probably because he was able to survive a fall like that. But, like, they were calling him a monster already. And, like, technically they're not wrong.
Because I think they somehow know about the nosebleed, right? And him passing out when the thug... in front of the thug. Yeah, because he keeps having those like things where something like that, like he passes out and we don't see, you know, what happens after that. It's just he's awake again. So they all vote while he's like locked up, right? They have him separated from everybody, Hyun-su, because they're like, how did he survive that? And why doesn't he have whatever? So they're like, clearly he's infected or whatever they think it is. And even though some people are like, hey, they already said this isn't contagious, like we don't have to be like this. They are, They are, sorry, another celebrity just died. He was like the editor-in-chief at Vogue, I think. His name is Andre Leon Talley. Yeah, Vogue editor to famous magazine. But anyway, they were going to vote whether they're going to kill him or kick him out or something like that. And of course, the shop owner is like the main one, and other people are like, there's like debate about it. He starts like harassing his wife, like, why aren't you voting with me? And so, because they're like, we should vote anonymously. This kind of reminds me of Hunter x Hunter again, too. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Oh God, what arc was that? Not Heaven's Arena.
The Hunter exam.
Oh, the very first. Wow, I didn't feel like it was like much longer than that. But the majority rules thing part. Yeah.
People feel more comfortable voting if they're anonymous.
Yeah. And the husband was like, fuck that, because he wants to be able to intimidate people because he's a fucking bully and a woman abuser.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why everyone's like so afraid. Like,
I do not.
Just one good punch to the face and he'll be out. Just come on.
I know. And I like the ballerina girls, like, fuck you. Like literally doing like hand symbols in his face. While this is going on, while they're in the lobby voting, upstairs, the mom in the apartment with Dushik and the two kids, who are like Soo Young and Young Soo, I think that's their names.
Yeah. I don't know which is which, but that's their
right,
names.
Those are their names. She's chopping vegetables for dinner.
Like a carrot.
And like chops her hand, doesn't she? And I think the blood, like she starts like looking over at the kids. They're sleeping. And like her eyes turn and we're like, uh-oh, Lord Jesus, she gonna eat them babies. So while the shop owner is talking his shit, Hyun-su comes in, right? And he's like, well, don't I get a vote? And while he's yelling at him, he gets a nosebleed. And the nosebleeds, I think we talked about this before. The nosebleeds on this show is so disturbing because it's like somebody turns on a faucet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
nose just starts gushing blood.
And I just don't understand how you don't pass out.
Yeah.
Just from like so much blood loss so fast, and just like it makes me woozy thinking about it.
I think the panic I would feel.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Like
I'd pass out from the panic.
Exactly. And even like, when you get a nosebleed and you like put your head back, like you would just fucking choke. You would just drown in your own blood. So, so then they're like, okay, fine. We'll lock him up too. And I think it's Ballerina Girl who leaves them with like, well, you should start asking yourself who might be next. So, and then Yi Kyung, after she comes back, she asks the shop owner's wife, who's like trying to give her food and stuff, but the food like makes her sick to her, like just the smell of it, like she can't. And she's like, is it bad? And I think it's just something like rice, right? Like, I don't feel like it was anything like...
There was something with it, but it was rice, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, I don't think this is bad. Like, is everything okay? And she kind of figures out, like, she's probably pregnant, because later she gives her a pregnancy test.
And when she was, like, bringing up the pregnancy test, I was like, when did her fiancé die? Like, how recent was his death if she's only just now finding out she might be pregnant?
Yeah. I mean, it could be anywhere from like 1 to 3 months. You can, you know what I mean? Like you can be pregnant for that long and not know it, realistically. Especially if you have like a lot going on, it's trauma, you know what I mean? And it's just like, even me today, I got my period and I was just like, what? I told you, I was so shocked. It was like it was my very first period. I'm like, I don't know why I was so shocked. But like, yeah, so like you have a lot going on. You're just not thinking about it, I guess. But it's in this conversation where she's trying to feed her that the shop owner's wife, like she asks about Soo Young, the soldier. She's like, where's Soo Young? And she's like, oh, nobody told you. So there was a nice scene with Jisoo comforting the mom, Min-soo's mom. Mm-hmm. And
she brought up the person that died in her life that committed suicide. And
in one of these episodes, we got like a bigger flashback of that, right?
Of them playing baseball, yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like it's her brother, we're thinking.
I'm thinking either a brother or a lover. Because it's like definitely a guy around the same age as her. Mm-hmm.
And because the mom is looking at pictures of Min-soo on her phone. And she tries talking to her and the mom is clearly like, can I just mourn? And that's how I would be. Like, shut up. Please don't try to comfort me. Because this is fucking terrible. But she's like, yeah. I think she said something like, I can't remember if she was like, I regret not having more pictures of him, or I'm happy that I have these. I think she's like, I'm happy that I have these pictures. And she pulls out her phone and she shows her pictures of the guy who killed himself. And she's saying, I thought that was really sweet. Why do I have in my notes, ballerina girl is Ymir? Oh, because she... Who does she lay into? Jisoo, right? Does she start yelling at Jisoo for like being nice?
For being nice.
Yeah. And it seemed like they got beef, right?
Yeah.
Like there's something going on between them from
like,
before.
Almost like they know each other, but like something that Jisoo said to her was like, oh, you must be that crazy girl I heard about, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so they haven't really met,
but
they
the girl who burned down your school.
They immediately don't get along. And this entire time I was like thinking to myself, they would get along, but they don't.
They don't. Mm-mm. And the reason I call her Ymir is that there's a character in Attack on Titan who in the like first season and a little bit in the beginning of the second season was just like, you know, who do you think you're fooling being nice to people? Like, you know, like that type of attitude. And then number 802, the sus guy. Well, first the thug guy goes back to that guy's apartment and finds that he's gone. And there was a like message, right? Like written, I don't remember like in what, like on a mirror or something.
It was like written in blood, but it was like on the TV.
I think it was on TV. And he was like, I'll be seeing you again or something like that. And at first we were like, who left that? Like, did he leave that for him? But remember when he was like, I'll be right back, and he went in the apartment to get the weapon? I'm wondering if he did that then.
It was really fast if he did.
Yeah. So we were just kind of confused. And I remember
it might have been when he separated.
He went back. Yeah, because he got the suitcase. So I'm assuming that was like food from his apartment.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we were just like, what? I mean, we already knew it, but I feel like that absolutely confirms that whatever he was getting his ass kicked for, he deserved it. And he deserved it. Exactly. So they reunite in the hallway and he hits him. He's like, oh, you'll be seeing me again, huh? Motherfucker, I heard you was talking shit. And he starts like beating his ass and he runs from him and he runs into like the other guys. I didn't catch their name, but it's like the guy that the shop owner is bullying, the guy that has on Jungkook's shirt. I should tell everybody. So
did we not mention that?
I don't think we mentioned it. So there's one of the characters. If you guys are watching it, you can go back and see, or when you watch the next episode, because I mean the character's still alive. But one of the guys in the lobby has on a shirt and it's like a long sleeve striped shirt. Under
a white striped shirt.
Yes, under a short sleeve shirt that kind of has like rips in it, and it's, you know, the collar is kind of lower than the other shirt. And Kaylee was like, and I remember like when the scene happened, like you had just, or one of us had like made a comment about somebody in the background of the scene, and then you made a comment about him, and I didn't understand what you were saying, and you were like, I feel like one of the BTS members wore something like that in a video. And so at first you were like, I think it's Jimin in Save Me. So I was like, oh, let's see. Because
it was just so bizarre. I was watching that scene and like I said something. And then the scene changed. Yes. And then we saw that shirt.
You were talking about that girl's face, because you thought that the girl was in Goblin. I think.
Yeah,
because she was sitting next to the lady with the dog.
Yeah, right? So I was like noticing too many different things at once. So I noticed her, and then I noticed his shirt, and like his shirt just like tickled something in my brain like immediately. Like I knew right away, like I seen that shirt before, so I like instantly pointed it out, and you were like, what? Because I was like moving from topic to topic.
I was so confused.
So I like had to pause it and rewind it to point out the shirt, and I'm like, doesn't a BTS member
and
like somebody wore that shirt?
And you said, I think maybe Jimin and Save Me, and I was like, oh yeah, because the style was very much like they were all wearing stuff like that in the Save Me video. If you guys are curious, go Google BTS Save Me, their music video. It's amazing. It's a great song. It's a
all
whole
done
video.
In one take.
Yes, it's a one take video. It's great. So we pulled it up and they're like, none. And so at first I was like, I see why you would think that, because again, it's the same style, like the layered, baggy kind of thing. But then you said, no, I swear, I think maybe it was Jungkook. And he's walking. And when you said walking, I think right at that moment, I think we were both like, fake love. And I was like, yes, the extended part, the video at the end where he's walking. So we pull up the fucking video It is the same fucking shirt.
Like, same exact shirt.
Like, the same, like, it has, like, this, like, it has this thing where it looks like there's, like, holes in it.
The holes are the same.
Holes are the same. The color's the same. There's, like, a rip along the collar of the overshirt. Like, that's the same. We were like, holy shit, it's the same fucking shirt. Like, what are the odds? And the only way this would be any weirder is if it doesn't come together. Because you know how sometimes there are shirts that look like they're supposed to be like layered two shirts, but they're not. They're actually connected.
Yeah.
The only thing, if these were just two random shirts that the stylist for this show put together and the stylist for that BTS video did. Otherwise, although you know how there are those Twitter accounts dedicated to ARMY, like BTS fashion. So like whenever they go to an award, anything they do, there's like pictures of those things and like where you can buy, like the cost, and we can never afford it because it's usually like Louis Vuitton. I bet you somebody has that. It has to be a shirt that, or shirts that are sold together, meant to be worn like that.
Yeah, I think so. But like, it's just because as I was trying to like figure out where I seen that shirt before, I like, my first thought was Save Me, and then my second thought was Fake Love, and I'm like, why am I thinking of Fake Love? Because I remember the video, they had like all the black and like the straps and the harnesses. And I'm like, so it's not Fake Love, but my brain wants to say Fake Love, and so like I did, but I was like not sure of myself. So I'm like,
no,
Fake
as
Love.
soon as you said it, I was like, yes.
And I was like, oh my god.
And all I could picture was him walking at the end. I mean, he has on the shirt throughout the video in certain scenes. Like he wears different outfits in the video, but like that shirt isn't more than just the scene I was thinking of. But the moment you said it, like I just pictured him when he walks in the room and it's all those hooded figures. Yeah. So if you guys are curious, again, go look up BTS Fake Love, the music video. And
I was thinking specifically of the scene of him like crouching down. That was like what was going through my head.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he crouches down and like runs his hand through like sand or something.
Yes, yeah.
And then he picks something up.
That's like because when the video kind of cuts, right? When Jimin turns off the water in the sink. Yeah. We are ARMY trash, y'all.
It's just so funny because it's been so long since I've seen that video too.
Not me. You know, I probably just watched that video like 2 weeks ago. But I'm always watching like reaction videos and stuff like that too. So anyway, I bring that up to say that there are a few guys in the show that I don't know their names yet, but they're like always together. So it's like him wearing that shirt. He has like really pronounced cheekbones. Then there's like the guy who was like upset because like I think he got into college when he's like, what the fuck? It doesn't matter. Like, because we're all going to die. And then there's the guy like that the shop owner bosses around a lot. Those guys are the ones who the sus 802 guy runs to after he's getting his ass kicked by the, and he's like, I'm a monster. I think I'm infected. Lock me up. Because he wants to get away.
Yeah, because like he had a nosebleed from the fight.
Yes.
And like, it's like you could tell like that's what the other guys are thinking. The moment they saw him, they were like staring at his face and at his nose, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna think he's infected. But then he was like, I wasn't expecting him to say that. I wasn't expecting the show to go that way. So
I wasn't expecting him to think that quickly.
Yeah.
But he's shady. This is what he does.
And then they're like, okay, we'll lock you up. But they were like, we kind of don't believe you.
Right. And when the like thug guy kind of catches up, like it is there, I think they're kind of like arguing about it, and the guy just rolls his eyes and locks himself up.
Yeah.
He just goes in. Like,
yeah, it's because the guy with the sword is there too now.
Yes, that's right.
And he stops the guy from like attacking him. And
we were just like, no, let it happen. So then he goes in where they have Hyun-su and the shop owner are locked up. So he's now locked up with them, and he's like, I heard that you can't die. I heard that you're super powerful. He's like, I want to know what that's like. I want to be like you. And we're just like,
this got crazy.
Lord Jesus.
I mean, we kind of knew something was wrong with him.
So then the final thing that happens in this episode, which is seriously going to make me want to put the next one on tonight, but I can wait till tomorrow maybe. Back up in the apartment with Dushik, he's like tinkering because he's up there. What the fuck was that?
This is me sighing because I just remembered. Like,
did you get what
I forgot? I just remembered. So now I kind of like, maybe I want to watch this episode tonight just to see what's going on.
So he's like at his little desk, like MacGyvering weapons or whatever he's doing. And the little girl comes up to him and she's like, homegirl been in the bathroom, the woman, the mom, she's been in the bathroom for a long time. He's like, do you have to poop? I love him. And she's like, no, but I mean, you know, she's been in for, he's like, how long? And she goes, like an hour. And he's like, oh, you're right, that's a long time. So he gets like his weapon out, his crutch gun, I think. I don't know. And he goes to the door and he's like all cautious and he opens the door. Oh, he had a way to open the door because it was locked.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you...
I don't remember. You caught it, but I didn't catch it.
Yeah, because you weren't looking at that, like in that split second where it showed it. It's like a little dial at like the bottom of the door that you can like press with like your crutch or something to unlock the door.
Oh, that makes sense. That's probably part of, you know,
Yeah.
Accessibility for someone who's disabled. I didn't consider that. And when he opens the door, there is this giant
Cocoon?
It's not even, it's like a pod.
Yeah.
Because like a cocoon, I think like webs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like webbing, silky. Like, no, this felt like it was like a fucking
It's slimy looking
pod, like an egg, but like, and it's like, you could see like the veins in it and it's pulsating. And
yeah,
it's
like throbbing.
liquid in it, throbbing, yeah. And I was like, shoot it with fire, and then run with them babies. But whatever he sees, it causes him to like, if I'm not mistaken, he looks shocked, like beyond the shock of seeing it. Like, it's like he really looks at it, and I think he lowers the gun, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, maybe he could see the
woman in there.
The woman in there.
And maybe she's in there going, like, no, I'm all right, cool. Like, cut it. Like, you know, like doing the thing where you like slice at your neck, like, ixnay on the shooting. I don't know, but that's how it ends. And I was like, I was so mad when this ended. I was like Attack on Titan levels of to be continued mad.
I can't, so I have a prediction, but I can't say what it is because it's kind of related to Shotgun Boy.
Oh, for fuck's sake. That's
if
not fair.
If these shows really take place in the same universe. So that's why I kind of want to watch this next episode just to see if I'm right.
Oh, that's not fair, Kaylee.
I mean, if you read more than one episode of Shotgun Boy.
I have a lot of things to do. Shit. I'm trying to fit everything in.
Sometimes I look over and you're just sitting there playing your little card game.
Oh, really? Because sometimes I look over and you're just sitting there playing your fucking little rhythm game.
Yeah, baby, you
I mean, we talking
reading.
shit. All right. So we got one little bit of feedback, and it's also from Gregory, who, remember when he was like, a friend who recommended this told me it was cute, and I was like, what? Did you leave this in the wrong spot? Did you mean to leave? What are we watching? I don't think we're watching anything that's cute. It's like, what are you doing? And he came back and said, yes, I'm talking about Sweet Home. There are some cute moments. Really? I mean, the stuff with the kids is cute.
Yeah.
I guess. But
yeah.
It's
not the first word I would use to describe this show overall.
Yeah. There's like, it just kind of just took me off guard a little bit. So, all right. That is it, you guys. Thank you for listening. Lots of great stuff coming up. You know, as always, I got to tell you what you're paying for. So besides Sweet Home, obviously next week, Kaylee and I will be back with the next two episodes, episodes 5 and 6. If you're time travel, you know, you're a week ahead of everybody else. We're still covering, like I said earlier, Hunter x Hunter. I believe at this point you guys are getting the York New City arc this week, or you might have already gotten it. Attack on Titan is back. We just covered the second episode of this back half of the final season. We kick off the Silent Sea this weekend. That's new to you guys. Again, if you're time travel, you're going to be two episodes ahead of everybody else. We're also covering that 2 episodes at a time. And I'm really excited about this. This Friday night, John is back joining me and Donnie to cover Station 11 on HBO Max. And people are comparing it to The Leftovers. And you guys know that's like my number 1 show, with Attack on Titan probably being my number 2. So I'm really excited to get into that. Kaylee and I are still covering Goblin. Donnie and I are going to be finishing the final season of Money Heist next week. And then there's so many new things coming out at the end of this month, and then next month, and then in March that I'm really excited about. And I'm going to be spending the next few days working on the schedule. I'm going to try to like plan as far ahead as I can. Yeah, there's some great stuff coming up. The trailer for Moon Knight dropped. We're definitely going to be covering that. That begins in March. I want to cover that new Korean zombie high school drama called "We All of Us Are Dead," I think, or "We Are All Dead" or some shit. We'll definitely be covering that. That drops in like 2 weeks. So a lot of great stuff. So once again, thank you guys so much for subscribing. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye bye.